Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Study with me. In our previous class, we completed up to the sources of Vishnukundina dynasty. So now we'll see about the kings and also the administration of Vishnukundina dynasty. And the first king who ruled Vishnukundina dynasty is Indravarma. Indravarma is also the founder of the dynasty, and he started his rule from Amrabad and Mehbubnagar district and extended it to Bhuvanagiri and Ramanapet of Nalgonda district and Kisaragutta of Rangareddy district. And the next king who ruled after Indravarma I is Madhavavarma I. According to Tumalaguram inscription, he conducted some rituals and sacrifices like Ashwamedha, Bahusvarna, Paundraka and Vajapeya. And also his kingdom was limited to Nalgonda and Mehbubnagar districts only. At that time, the remaining areas of Telangana was under the control of Vakatakas. Govindavarma I is the next ruler of Vishnukundina dynasty. Wife of him was Parma Bhattarika. She is the daughter of Molaraju. Who is the ruler of Gunapasapura. This Govindavarma I expanded his kingdom with the help of his father-in-law and declared independence from Vakatakas. He was very generous towards his servants, relatives and people, and he treated all the castes and creeds of his kingdom equally, that he made thousands of donations, also built several temples and viharas to beautify the kingdom, that he sacrificed all his fairly earned money to scholars, warriors and noble people, and also he studied several spiritual systems and acquired enormous knowledge. He had this inscription called Tumalaguram, which was written after donating 2 villages to Buddhistic Vihara, which were built by his wife Parama Bhattarika Mahadevi, and the names of those villages were Embudala and Penkapara, but the seals of these inscriptions were lost. Govindavarma also described himself as Kaustuba, which means a jewel of Sri Parvata region. As a follower of Buddhism and a great scholar in Buddhist texts and sciences, he also built Govinda Vihara on the banks of river Musi at Hyderabad, which is in Chaitanya Puri. And the next king who ruled after Govindavarma I is Madhavavarma II. He led his arms against Ananda Gorika, ruling over Ongolu, Guntur and Tenali regions. They were probably enjoying subordinate positions under Pallavas of Kanchipuram, and the king Madhavavarma II is also against to Vengi kingdom, which was under Salankayanas, and in his period only Godavari became part of Vishnukundina dynasty, and the capital city was shifted to Bijawada. He had 2 sons whose names were Devavarma and Vikramendravarma I. So this is all about the king Madhavavarma II, and the next king who ruled is Vikramendravarma I. The king Vikramendravarma I is a worshipper of Buddha, and he is also son of Vakataka princess. As the Purina branch has no heir, Vikramendravarma became the ruler of whole of Vakataka kingdom. Madhavavarma III is the next king of Vishnukundina dynasty. He was the son of Devavarma, and this Mahendravarma III came to rule as Simhavarma III of the Pallavas died. And the next important king of Vishnukundina dynasty is Indravarma II. He is the first king to form and conduct Gatikas, which means parishads. In the field of education, he was a devotee follower of Vedic religion and was a great Brahmin. In his period only we can see a new type of army wing. He was defeated by Ishanavarma, and Pulakesin I declared independence against Vishnukundins in his period. And the next important king who ruled after Indravarma II is Vikramendra Varma II. He issued second Tumalagodam inscription, which is very important, and he also had the title called Bhuvanaraksha Bharanaikashraya. He fought battles with Pallavas, and while he was fighting in that battle with Pallavas, Prithvi Maharaja of Rana Durjaya kingdom, let me write it here, declared its independence. So Vikramendra invaded Pitapuram and died in that battle. And the next king who ruled is Govindavarma II. There is nothing much to say about him, but just remember that he had the title called Vikramarka. And also there is a point which you need to remember is that in his reign only Gupta Empire was ended. This Vishnukundana Empire was expanded under its able ruler Janashreya Madhavarma IV. He consolidated his position in Bengi, and he also suppressed the upheaval of subordinate chief Durajaya Prithvi Maharaja in Guddadi Vishya. In his last years of rule, he had to face the Chalukyan assault. It is likely that the Chalukyan Pulakesin II defeated Madhavarma in 617 and 618 AD. And the last king of the dynasty is Manchana Bhattaraka, who was a son of Madhavarma IV. It is believed that he might have expelled by the Chalukyas by the end of 624 AD. So this is all about the kings of Vishnukundana dynasty. Now we'll see the administration of this dynasty. When it comes to the administration of Vishnukundana dynasty, the provincial divisions were Rashtras and Vishyas for administrative convenience, and also each one was headed by viceroys. This viceroys was chosen by royal families only. When it comes to the army of Vishnukundana dynasty, elephants, horses, chariots, cavalry, infantry formed a major chunk of this army. And if you see the economy, there were some Agrahara villages which were the villages set aside exclusively for the development of Brahmin caste, which were exempted by the tax. And however, the taxes and duties were levied heavily to meet the administrative expenses by the rulers. When it comes to education, Telugu and Sanskrit languages were flourished during this period, and the rulers themselves authorized certain books, while other poets also flourished. A number of Vedic schools were also established to impart Vedic education at that time. Lands were also gifted to further the educational needs. By this we can say that Vishnukundans given importance to education. The rulers of Vishnukundana dynasty were the ardent followers of Lord Shiva, and hence took over the responsibility of constructing a number of temples dedicated to Lord Shiva. For example, Undavalli caves at Vijayawada, Mughali Rajapuram and Bhairavikonda, which were important examples of cave temples constructed during the rule of this dynasty only. And also there's a king called Pallava Mahendra Varman I. He also contributed significantly for this purpose. And also the king Mahendra Varma went to the extent of having inscriptions and art on the walls of these cave temples, which are the sources of information today to ascertain the time periods of those temples. So this is all about our today's class. Thanks for listening this class. If you like this class, please share it with someone who need these classes, and also don't forget to subscribe my channel Study With Me. Thank you again. See you all in the next class.